Most people have an opinion about past lives before they've ever experienced one. After more than 20 years facilitating thousands of recall therapy sessions, I've realised the biggest obstacle isn't the experience, it's the misconceptions.
What's the definition of insanity? Ain't it just a difference in reality?
Welcome to the SoulLife Psychology Podcast. I'm Dr Toni Reilly, founder of SoulLife Psychology, where intuition meets logic. This podcast explores the soul and the human experience to help you understand who you are and why you're here. Today we're looking at some of the biggest misconceptions about past lives and why they stop so many people from exploring this extraordinary experience. It's all really fresh for me at the moment because we are currently doing recall therapy practitioner training, having a lot of fun with my students, exploring recall therapy at its best. Let's go with misconception 1. I haven't had a past life. Consciousness doesn't begin at birth. Every single person has incarnated somewhere, either on Earth or elsewhere, and maybe both. Most likely, I would go out there and say every person has been on Earth before. Misconception 2 is, what if I can't relax? Or I've been told that I can't be hypnotized. One of the biggest fears people have is about what hypnosis really is. I don't even call it hypnosis because hypnosis is programming someone to think differently about something. With recall, that is not what we do. But the part of hypnosis that we do use is induction, which means relaxing you. I call it a meditative state, an altered state. It's like a bit like when you're driving along and maybe daydreaming. You know, you're kind of like off with the fairies or you're zoned out for a sec. It's that kind of shift in your state of awareness. Another example would be when you're reading a book and you get to the end of the page, but you have to read the page again because where were you in that time? Everyone does relax differently. You don't have to be deeply relaxed for recall therapy to work. If you find yourself a fabulous facilitator, which I am, but also anyone who's trained with me, they are taught how to relax you, how to get you into a state where you are going to get something from your recall session. And always, no matter what happens, there will be something that you get from it. So I always say trust. Trust that if you feel called towards having recall therapy or exploring your past lives, you don't even have to see it as therapy. If you want to do recall, then there will be something that your soul wants you to know. So follow the calling. Misconception 3, past lives are scary. Some people feel like they might see something that they don't want to see. Maybe it's going to be scary. And it's a valid fear, really, because given how many things we know happen in the human experience that are pretty scary, or you don't want them to happen to you. But what happens when you are exploring a past life is there's something that changes in you, and certainly your facilitator will help with this, where if something unpleasant is happening, you can detach and just look at what's happening, because with recall therapy, what we're looking for is for you to understand what happened, because that releases any physical symptoms, and why it happened, because that releases any emotional attachment to it. It's extraordinary, so simple. Any fears that you might get stuck, you will not get stuck. It can't happen. You're literally there on the couch with your eyes closed, or maybe you're sitting in front of the computer like this, and you cannot get stuck. you will come back to reality really fast. Some people have a fear of reliving the trauma, particularly if it's something that they've lived through in this life. But truly, when your soul is there, and it is in recall therapy, you will be given things in a way that you can process and understand what happened and why it happened. And that is what stops these traumas from continually haunting you or continuing to affect your life. It's extraordinary. The soul always reveals what you're ready to understand. You're always aware, and you're actually observing. You're not reliving. The past is gone, whether it's a childhood memory or a past life memory. Misconception 4, recall therapy dredges up the past. Lots of people say this, usually people who are a bit cynical of past lives. We visit it to understand what's going on for you now. That's what the outcome is for. So you revisit, it helps you understand what's going on for you now, and it relieves you. The past isn't the ultimate destination. It's the doorway to making this life better, improving it. Misconception 5. Everybody was famous. Of course, that is not true. Most lives are ordinary. Ordinary lives are where the experiences happen, the learning to understand who you are. It happens in ordinary, everyday lives. Recall just reveals the experience. And in the end, when you do see a high-profile life, or a life perhaps where you are extraordinarily wealthy, or somebody of status, they're not necessarily famous, just somebody of status, then what we're exploring around that is, how was that for you? How did it affect you? And what were you like in that position? That's what helps you understand what's going on in your life now. Misconception number 6. Some souls are old and some are new. This is not how soul energy works. Souls are collective energy. It's all the same. As we incarnate here and we have a spirit, in this case, I'm the spirit of Toni Reilly. So it's the personality and the characteristics and the circumstances and what you do and how you behave. That's what can have some sort of hierarchy. Hierarchy only exists in the human experience. It does not exist in soul energy. We all come from collective soul energy, and that's where we're all returning to. While we're here, we are having different experiences and we have different life plans. Misconception number 7. People sometimes think they're paying for something they did in another life. It doesn't work like that. We do know that it's widely talked about that that's what's happening. You do not come here for punishment or to make up for a karmic debt. Karmic debt is a human concept. What is happening is you are coming to do life so that you get to experience all angles of any experience, so all sides of a coin per se. The thing is that I know now from having done so many past lives is you can have the same experience or very similar in many lifetimes. And it's not repeating because you didn't learn what you were meant to. That is also not how it works. But what it does do when you go back to a life that is similar, or the feelings are similar, or the circumstances are similar to now, helps you understand what's going on now. And it helps you to release or heal if it's physical, understand emotions, understand fears, particularly if they are absolutely irrational or there's some phobia. All of those things. are revealed so that you can live a better life now. The lives connect through that experience. Misconception 8, you'll be judged when you die. After thousands of sessions, sorry I keep saying it, but in my observations, extensive observations, that is not what happens. Not about anything. Judgment is human. So judgment is for the human experience. It is not for when we return to our soul state, when we die. There's none of that. There is also no retribution. There is not. What happens is you come to understand while you're here what the purpose of what you've done or what's happened is. It may happen through your evolution within this lifetime, how you grow as a person, but it is not taken beyond that. Do you remember how many people thought, and maybe a lot of people still do, that suicide was a sin? And you know what happens is these people who are grieving the loss of somebody who suicided, they are tortured by those beliefs. But also what I noticed that happens is people come to their own understanding of that is not true, and it is not true. No retribution, and certainly not for something like that. My goodness, I could talk about these all day. If you have any questions, if there's any things that you've heard about past lives that I didn't cover and you want to know the answer or my perspective, then please go ahead and fill out the form on ToniReillyInstitute.com. There's a form there for your questions. You're also welcome to share stories. If you have your own stories or experiences or anomalies around past lives or anything like that, use the form. Now, let's talk about one of the catch cries I came up with from doing this work was regress to progress. And that's the philosophy behind recall therapy, because we don't go backwards to stay there. We go back to understand. Once something makes sense, your life moves differently. Recall is not about escaping this life. It's about living this life with greater awareness and to your capacity, the best way that you can. I want to leave you with this little reflection. Whether you believe in past lives isn't really the question. The real question is whether you're curious enough to explore the experiences that have made you who you are. Next week or next show, I'm going to talk to you about why I stopped calling it past life regression. It's really interesting. If you've enjoyed today's conversation, I'd love you to subscribe, leave a review, or share the episode with someone who's searching for answers. If you want to explore SoulLife Psychology or recall therapy, even Life Map or my courses, you'll find everything at ToniReillyInstitute.com. Always remember, self-awareness is the ultimate activism.
What's the definition of insanity? Ain't it just a difference in reality?